We're now joined by Tyler Reddick, driver for 2311 Racing, and the winner of the Geico 500. We'll go right ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand, and we'll get a mic over to you. We'll start right here with Zach, and we'll go to Bob.
Zach Sterniello, NASCAR.com. Congratulations on this. You get to now brag that you were the one to win, the first one to win with Michael Jordan in attendance. Having him in victory lane, seeing him be able to enjoy and celebrate that moment, how much does that add to a day like this for you?
It adds to it a lot. And first off, I have to apologize. My voice is pretty much gone from screaming and yelling, hooting and hollering, all that good stuff. But yeah, it adds to it a lot for sure. I think anytime you can win at Talladega, the emotions just overflow because there's so much uncertainty that comes with it. And for me in my situation, right, me and Michael were battling really, really hard. I mean, not just me and him, though. Like, you know, the first four cars in each row were really, really contributing to what was taking place at the front. And, yeah, I was in bad shape going into turn one. I was not liking what I was seeing. I was like, oh, no, it's slipping away. And that ended up being the very thing that, you know, allowed me to break through and win the race. You know, Michael and Brad and Noah were all pushing well, and then they come off four with a good gap to the outside lane. So, right, they're going to battle for it. And that ended up being the very thing that allowed me to break through. I had some momentum, but not enough to win the race. But when Michael and Brad got crossed up, I mean, it slowed Brad down just enough that I was breaking through, and I was just looking at the lights on the wall on the catch fence. I'm like, when is the caution going to come out? I was worried it already had. But to be honest, I still haven't gotten an answer. I don't know if I crossed the line first or if the caution came out before I got there, but obviously we won the race, so that was, man, it was nuts. For us, it was a fairly good day of strategy. We got a couple stage points, not as much as we wanted to, but I think, you know, of our group of Toyotas, we tended to be towards the front of that group, and so it was nice to be able to get some stage points, kind of just mixing it up, but unfortunately, the very thing that took out about half of our cars is what put me, Martin, and Ty at the front of the field at the end.
I don't know if you saw the video or not, but post-race at one, Michael was holding Bo in the pit box, and
I hadn't seen that. No.
He asked him if he's ready to celebrate, and you know, just everyone's there, kind of having a moment. Having your son here to celebrate those moments too, and Alexa, of course, how does that contribute to how you reflect on days like this? Obviously, I know it's fresh, it's in the moment, but how does that add to days like this?
Certainly some of the most special, you know, victories and moments in victory lane have had a lot to do with my kid, honestly. I remember back to Road America, he was just knocked out. And we laid him on our Sparco, like the smaller size Sparco, like carry-on bag that had all the victory lane stuff on it. And he was still younger at the time, and he hadn't quite got the potty training thing figured out. And I remember Alexa laid him down on that bag, and he just absolutely peed all over all the victory lane hats and everything else in his sleep. Just made a good old-fashioned mess. But yeah, and then fast forward to a little bit later than that, he was awake for Indy, and he watched us kiss the bricks and was like, what is wrong with you guys? So that was really cool too. But yeah, to have him wide awake in victory lane, celebrating with us, he knows who Michael Jordan is. Anytime I have a pair of Jordans on, or he does, I always ask the question, whose shoes are these? And he says, Michael Jordan shoes. So yeah, I think in the moment it means a lot, right? But as he gets older and everything too, looking back on that, that's going to be really, really cool.
Come down here to Bob, and then go over here to the left.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. To follow up on that, does Bo think of Michael Jordan as a basketball player or the guy who has a shoe company?
Ooh. That's a good. I mean, I feel like probably with as young as he is, more as the guy with the shoes for sure, the shoe company, right? I haven't done a great job, and you just gave me some ideas of what to do in the future. I gotta probably play some highlights, some finals matchups, and educate Bo a little bit better. But he knows who Michael is, obviously. But yeah, obviously he sees a lot of the shoes right. But that's some homework I can do. Play some old school games for him so he can get a real good feel of how dominant he was in his prime.
Well, you were only like 7 when Jordan retired, I think.
Yeah.
So not like you saw. Remember?
No, but I love watching it. Watching the highlights, watching the games. I mean, it's incredible, right? I mean, he's one of the best to do it. There's a couple that have been that good for that long, but obviously I'm going to be partial to my boss.
And sorry, one race question. When you see Michael trying to throw the block, are you thinking that might work? Or are you thinking, man, there's a crash coming and I'm going to see if I get caught up in it or what?
I'd say that late, I'm just holding it wide open. Doesn't even, I can just close my eyes. I'm going to hold it wide open. I'm going to do whatever it takes to not lift. I've been in that situation in a few different scenarios. That's the first time I've been in that spot at the front when you can battle for a win. I think our last time here in the playoffs, I saw everyone wrecking, and I just drove into it. I just hit it as hard as I could, and we gained a couple spots out of it. So that's just the mentality you got to have here. You just got to kind of throw caution to the wind. And as it turned out, I mean, the 10 and the 6 kind of got stacked up when Michael got turned sideways, and thankfully I had just enough momentum to get by both of them.
We're going to come over here to your left, Tyler, and then down over here to John.
Don Stinson, DNA Sports Talk. I asked Jordan, was this as good as a playoff win? And without hesitation, he said better. Now, whether that's NBA or NASCAR, your reaction to that, and what does it say about his commitment to you and the team?
Yeah, I mean, for him, he's come to a few races, and unfortunately, even as good as the days have looked, they've not ended in victory lane. So for us to win a race like that, be up front as much as we were at the end, and it looked like he was slipping away, and then we get it back, man, it's an unreal feeling. So yeah, it's great, you know. I'm really excited that I was able to do it, but my excitement level would not change whether it was me or Bubba that got him to victory lane when he was here at the track. He means a lot to everyone here at 2311, and he makes a big effort to talk to me, talk to Bubba, talk to Denny, talk to Steve, talk to other individuals at the team, and pump us up when we need it. And so to have him here to experience victory lane for the first time is really special.
All right, we're going to go right down here to John, and then all the way in the back.
John Neal, NBC Sports. I was curious, were there's a range of emotions going from, you know, the aggressive pit stop, all you guys working together, then your Toyota teammates crashing, and then all of a sudden you're still out back in front and you're getting Toyota its first win at a super speedway, the next gen era?
Yeah, there was a big range, right? Like I didn't actually ask the question, but certainly when you look at a crash of that nature where cars go up into the wall at that angle, you know, your first thought is, man, I hope everyone's okay, and it sounded like they were. Then you got to shift gears and recenter on your race, right? Like, okay, well, that really stunk for the drivers involved, but now we've got a real opportunity, those that remain, to capitalize on this moment and make sure one of us gets to victory lane. So, you know, I really would have expected Martin to go to the bottom and Ty to have to decide between the two of us. But again, I'm really thankful that Martin and Ty both decided to stay behind me and were dedicated to pushing me. If it wasn't for that, I don't think we win today. So, you know, it's just that Toyota family aspect, our teammates, everyone at Toyota really makes a big effort to help one another, and they certainly were a large part of why we were able to stay up towards the front and get the win today.
And then does it add, I guess, an extra pride knowing that even with the limited numbers after the crash, that you guys all worked so well together and you were able to deliver that win?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I know ultimately I'm the only one that leaves with the trophy and the playoff points, but we worked really well together. I'm just very thankful that, you know, Martin was as committed as he was, and Ty was as committed as he was to Martin. That was a very large part of why we were able to stay in the mix at the very end.
We're going to come right here in the middle to Steve, and then down here in the front to Jordan.
Steve Conley, the podium finish. Tyler, I know a lot of the early part of the race was fuel-saving mode for most of the field, but were you a little surprised running most of that first stage 3 wide that we didn't have the issue like we did at the end, and it stayed clean for those first 2 stages?
Yeah. Sorry, Davis was trying to hand me his in, and it fell. I mean, we're saving so much fuel that it looks 3 wide and it looks borderline chaotic, but for the most part, everyone's kind of taking it easy, giving each other room. So we were 3 wide, and you saw drivers trying to advance their position in the draft to take advantage of the pit cycle when it would open up, and it would work out for some, but it was just something to keep in mind all day long. You know, it certainly seemed like you'd want to be on the bottom when the pit cycle would start if you were one of the first cars to pit, but it was hard to save fuel down there. The middle seemed the best for that, so you just saw a lot of drivers kind of playing risk versus reward. Like, if I advance my position a few more spots, I'm further ahead when I come to pit road. Is that going to pay off in the amount of time on pit road? So it was just, everyone was kind of playing their own game there. It wasn't really super chaotic, really, before the pit stops. But after we would pit, I mean, the intensity would shoot to the ceiling, and it would stay there for the rest of the run to the stage end.
We'll come down here to Jordan, and then right here in the front.
Jordan Bianchi with The Athletic. When were you notified of the plan to pit in stage 3 under green like you guys did?
No comment. Sorry.
Understood.
I'm not going to talk about it.
That's okay. I get it. And when that call was made, were you thinking it was a good thing? Did you? Because the way I understand it is you either going to run them down under green. That was the idea. If it stays green, or if it goes caution, you guys are going to be able to leapfrog them, and which is what happened. So, as a driver, when you know this is going on, are you comfortable with it?
I mean, that is a Toyota driver, and as the other Toyota drivers, we're committed to each other, and whatever the strategy may look like, whatever the plan is, we're all on board with one another. So, yeah, it ended up working out for some of us, but that's what we're about. We're about being on the same page and working together.
Very good. Thanks.
We'll come right here in the front.
I thought about asking the same thing about the strategy. Sorry, Luke Sordino, Sanford Sports Analytics. Congratulations on the win. So I'll shift gears a little bit and ask, for Michael Jordan, he used to play here in Alabama with the Barons. Do you think it's any more special, pretty cool, being in that 45 car, which is the number he wore at the Barons with baseball? Any relation there?
That is pretty cool. I think of, also, my fiance's dad and him spending time together in baseball as well. So there's a lot of cool ties that go on down the line. But, yeah, it's just really special that he was able to be here. Again, it's great. It's cool that I was able to do it and get him to victory lane, but it wouldn't be any less special if it was Bubba doing it instead. We both really want to get into victory lane, and we've been really motivated to do so. I'm really glad that we finally were able to do it.
Are there any final questions? We'll take one last one right there in the back.
Hey, Brad Harris from FrontStretch.com. Is there any extra edge or motivation you guys get when y'all know that Michael is here at the track? Is there any more desire to want to win when he's here? Does that give you guys an extra step up?
Not that in the past it hasn't really worked out. But funny enough, I didn't really ask the questions today. I saw, Curtis Polk was here. I didn't know Michael was here till after the race was over. So maybe that was a trick, not us not knowing that he was here. Because in the past we've known he's here. We always push really, really hard, right? But it would make it extra special if we're able to take him to victory lane. So maybe it was a good thing I didn't really know he was here until it was all said and done.